Hey guys, today we'll be glossing over the Orruk Warclans and Stormcast Eternals Battletomes. Let's get to it. Today for the Orruk Warclans, we have Jia Zheng who's going to talk to us about the Orruk Warclans. Jia Zheng, introduce yourself, man.
Hi guys, I'm Jia Zheng. I've been actually playing Age of Sigmar for about 3 years, and I've actually been exclusively playing Orruk Warclans for the past 2 years, and I've put out quite a bit of fair results with them in many events, and I'm glad to be here to talk to you about all the fun things in the new book.
I can tell you're very excited, Jia Zheng. Okay, just to get a little bit more from you, which Warclan have you been playing in the Orruk Warclans?
So I've actually been playing Iron Jaws, specifically Iron Suns in Orruk Warclans. Essentially, they are elite army whereby I'm all about combat and getting up in your face.
Alright, so moving on from this, the main topic, the Battletome. What are your initial impressions when you read the Battletome?
So after reading the Battletome, I felt that they have actually done many good stuff, and they have actually balanced out the entire Battletome with fixes to many of the command ability issues, and of course adding new abilities to current units to bring them up to playable status. And I'll be talking more about it later on when we introduce the clans themselves.
Okay, to introduce the clans, since it's going to be a new edition, give us the differences between the old Orruk Warclans Battletome and this current Orruk Warclans Battletome.
So actually the biggest differences is in their war ability. So back then, in the Orruk Warclans, the war ability only gives us a +1 to our attack characteristics and perhaps +2 if you're playing Iron Jaws. However, for each of the separate clans themselves, we have actually gained a very specific war. For Iron Jaws, we have gained additional of 1 rend and +1 to charge when we pop our war ability. For Pro Boys, is we can choose up to 2 other units when our general fights to immediately fight again. To fight, not again, but just to fight consecutively. For the Bone Splitters themselves, they actually have this 4+ ward save that is army wide, and for the Big War, it is back to +1 attack characteristics.
I see. So basically, all the Orruks are just gonna fight a whole lot more. So they were fighting before.
That's
they
right.
Fight even more now.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my! So basically, they gave like a bunch of protein to the orcs, and they just come in. Wow.
Yeah, they fight more, they fight faster, and they are more tanky, and they fight even more.
Well, that's a great generic understanding of the Battletome. I'm sure everyone who's gonna get it will have a lot to read on. Now let's move on to the things that are a little bit more exciting for me. Models always come out with Battletomes or Codexes. So what is your favorite model coming out with this Battletome?
So my favorite model personally would be actually Gobsprat, the Mouth of God. And I'll be getting him just for the model itself and not actually for the playing of his ability or skill. Mainly because who doesn't want to have a Shaman Orc on a killing voucher that runs around the battlefield? So he's for a flavor list essentially. For models that I'll be getting for the playability, of course, would be the Sludge Breaker on with a Snatcher box. Essentially, if you like doing mortal wounds, well, he helps you do even more. Having a 12-inch bubble buff that gives your Pro Boys on 6s to hit to do an additional mortal wound to what they're dealing already. So people with no ward saves, they gotta start running.
Okay, so these models are pretty exciting. The Battletome seems like a great way to start if you haven't played Orruk Warclans before. I'm kind of excited because I want to deal mortal wounds. I don't get to do that. Would you like to have any final words about the entire Battletome before we move on to the Stormcast?
Well, actually, I'd like to mention that for this current iteration of Orruk Warclans, they actually made collecting the army much more easier and, of course, better on your wallets, as most of the start collecting boxes are able to net you perhaps 500 to even 1,000 points of this army, which means you only need 2 or more boxes and maybe a box of an iconic unit like the Corpse Watcher, of course.
I see. Alright, thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you for your thoughts, Jia Zheng. Guys, let's move on to talking about the Stormcast Eternals. Let's go!
Alright, thank you.
For the Stormcast Eternals Battletome, we have Renzus who's going to be telling us a little bit more about it. Renzus, introduce yourself, man.
Hello, my name is Renzus. Most of you know me from the store. I am both one of the store regulars and also one of the staff.
Alright, cool thing. How long have you been playing Stormcast?
Since the launch of AOS 2. So back when, what was it called? The Stormcast versus Nighthorn set.
Nighthorns, I see. So
yes, I started then.
So, moving on, let's talk about the actual Battletome. What were your initial impressions, when you saw it?
I think the new Battletomes, sort of the biggest thing that they've done to it is that simplicity is strength.
Mm-hmm.
They've cut out a lot of extraneous abilities. In exchange, they've made the codex significantly more streamlined and also boosted power. So the big changes would be there's no more mandatory enhancement requirements, no more fixed command traits or artifacts for heroes. You can just choose whichever Stormhost you want now. There's also, what I saw was significant stat boosts almost across the board for Stormcast War Scrolls. Stuff like a few units getting boosted to 3+ save, a few units having significantly more attacks or more rend than they had before. And like I said, some of the removal of the more quirky abilities like Liberators. There's no difference between a hammer and a sword now. They're just called Heaven Wrought weapons, which is nice. There's a lot less worry about how you need to model your Liberators now, which is good.
Okay, so seeing as you mentioned that, so in the past you had two different weapon profiles, is it? With the hammer and the sword?
Yes, you have to choose between hammer and sword. They did very, very slightly different things.
Okay, but and now it's all the same.
Now it's just the set. Now it's got the Heaven Wrought weapon. It's 2 attacks of 3s to hit, 4s to wound with Rend 1 and damage 1. It did not have Rend 1 prior.
Oh, that's cool. So they kind of give it a boost. Okay, it doesn't matter what you're holding, just hit hard.
Yep,
so
that's
the
right.
Golden Boys have become more Golden Boys. Oh, I see. Okay, so
they really do feel like a more elite army as opposed to in the past where their stats were above average but not really enough to make up for the fact that other races had particular tricks. Now they really feel like what you pay for.
Mm-hmm. The Golden Boys, the big boys in armor. Okay. That's pretty cool. Okay, any more differences from the previous Battletome?
Not much than what I already covered. I think the biggest ones that any Stormcast player will be busy doing when the Battletome comes out is trawling through the War Scrolls and finding out which units got big changes to how much damage they can put out or how much more durability they have in the past. Mostly some of the points, I will say the army got a little bit more expensive on average to make up for the stat boosts. Quite a few units, some more than others, became quite expensive to reflect their new powers, their new status in power.
Okay. Alright, so that's some of the differences. Okay, seeing as Games Workshop never comes out with a Battletome or Codex without having models, which of the upcoming models, initial releases, are your favorite?
Well, the ones that are coming out alongside the Battletome will be, for me, my favorite is the Night Vigilor, the new sort of ranger hero for the Stormcast who has a pair of Gryph-hounds accompanying him. I like his look. I like the Stormcast look where even though they're still massively armor plated, their scouts and rangers have cloaks and carry their tools with them.
That sort of thing. Armor though, right?
Yes, there's almost no Stormcast. In fact, there just are no Stormcast that isn't completely encased in their massive Stormcast armor. I think at most it's just whether or not they have the helmet or not.
I see. Okay, I've seen
the Night Vigilor.
The Night Vigilor. It looks pretty cool. The Gryph-hounds look adorable. They're quite cool, and he has a gigantic bow, so that's pretty freaking awesome. Okay.
Yes, and if we're talking about upcoming releases in the future, the ones I'm most excited for, there's a few big winners. One of them will be the Stormdrake Guard, which are the Stormcast riding the Flying Dragons. And we also have Lord Commander Bastian Cartelos, the large and in charge Stormcast boss. That's I think the commander of the Hammers of Sigmar.
I see.
He is menacing. That model, you put it on table and people get nervous.
Hopefully we get to see him soon. That was a pretty decent coverage of the new Battletome. Hopefully any Stormcast player watching this gets a decent look out of it before they actually get their hands on the Battletome. Alright, thanks guys. Thank you, Renzus. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you. Happy to be here.